Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a match that I had in the Hudson Mk V. As you may remember, I've not long updated the review for this thing, which the review is like 3 or 4 years old. And, well, I was doing a daily task in this thing, and pretty much all it was get a player kill twice. That's all the daily really was. It was the War Eagle first daily. So pretty much for that one, you just play 2 matches and you have to get 1 kill in each. Now, as you may remember in that review, or if you didn't watch the review, I'll explain. I mentioned that the Hudson is not as tough as the Havoc. It's, shall we say, bomber cousin. And as a result, the Hudson might seem like it's not as tough, as in like it can't take a hit or anything like that. And that's not the case. The Hudson can definitely take a hit, as most would imagine. I mean, it's got no armor, but the fact that most of it is open in terms of space, it can definitely take a hit. And obviously with EFS, it can definitely stop itself from dying, at least in theory. And yeah, this plane can definitely do quite a bit. But of course, having only half the machine guns in the front definitely does limit its burst mass. But of course, the extra bomb load does help out when it comes to killing bases. But I know what you're thinking. So if this thing is, in theory, worse in terms of durability than the Havoc, and has half the forward firepower of the Havoc, surely this thing wouldn't be good as a fighter, right? No, this thing is actually really good. Of course, with the gunners being quite helpful and very useful, this thing really can do some work. Same as with the Havoc, but the Havoc can take a beating and keep on going. The Hudson won't be able to take as much of a beating, but this thing can still do a lot of work with what it's got. And as you can see in this replay, this thing is an absolute monster. So, I'll jump ahead to the replay, and I will see you all shortly. And welcome to the match. As you can tell, this is going to be a long one because, well, this match really was a long one. So starting off, I've obviously already dropped most of my bomb load and kill the base. I'm not going to be able to kill this base with the remaining 6 100-pound bombs. But I feel sorry for this poor sod down here. If I just quickly go to Siluro 10, because, well, he's the closest, there's actually a Stuka down here being dogpiled by about 5 guys, and yeah, he doesn't last very long. Seriously though, why do USA teams always do this? Like, 1 aircraft can deal with a Stuka, but, well, that just summarizes most things, doesn't it? So naturally, I'm going to make my way over here, watch the fireworks, pretty much, because, well, I can't help him, and get rid of the last of my bombs. There is obviously fighters at higher altitude, which I obviously need to worry about. But trust me, this is going to be a long, drawn-out match where I hope you brought plenty of snacks, a drink, and hopefully, I don't know, because I do die at the end of this, maybe a tissue or 2, because this was a long and fun match, let's put it that way. And to think, I just needed 1 air kill for my daily. I didn't need the bases, but those are optional, and well, I'm a bomber. Might as well get rid of the bomb load whilst I'm at it. Sometimes I like jumping into cockpit view. I've mentioned this a while ago, but I like doing it because it's quite relaxing. I just wish bombers had their actual cockpits. Then sim pilots would stop complaining on the forums about it. So as you can tell, most of their team has actually dove down to go after that Stuka. But what that means is that they kind of tend to be that's a bug, by the way. I was watching the bombs to make sure they were hitting their target, and well, they just have. So there's that. So as you can tell, I'm obviously keeping an eye out around me, but this is when the Corsair decides to pitch up. Naturally, being a bomber zombie that this guy is, he pulls himself straight into the vertical, directly in front of the Hudson. He's just fortunate enough that this thing is a bit of a boss at times. But of course, my gunners aren't exactly the most friendly, and well, the last bullet that I get on him before my guns can't shoot him anymore actually sets him on fire, which was quite nice. But this is where the P400, following in his brethren's footsteps of being a bomber zombie, decides to pitch up straight in front of my guns. And well, I don't think you're putting that one out. Your Corsair friend did though, but he won't be alive much longer. That's kill number 1, and soon to be kill number 2. I'd also like to give a shout out to Harry Pateur on my team in the Kai 21 High, who watched this match, and hilariously, because I love it when people say this, because obviously my channel's not as big as other channels on War Thunder. He jokingly said, well, obviously he meant it seriously, but I took it as a joke. He said to me that I should start doing videos, and I said, mate, I already do. This is going on the channel. Obviously I've not had much time to sit down and record this, because obviously it's a big match, and well, yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, to say the least, to get done, but, well, it's not every day you get to see a Hudson booming and zooming an IL-2, now is it? So this IL-2 has already taken some hits. He is trying to maneuver out of the way, but, well, whilst he is more maneuverable than me, I have a bull turret, and it's none too happy to see an IL-2. And there we go, that's kill number 3. Unfortunately, killing that IL-2 has kind of stirred the Hornet's Nest, and the Hornet's Nest is not after me for once. It's after that poor sod in the 109. Now I have two options here. Extend and try and basically leave the 109 to die on its own, or at least turn around and try, keyword, try and help the poor sod. Obviously I'm not going to be able to help the 109, he's already dead, there's 3 of them in the area. And let's just say these enemy players are none too happy to see a Hudson going fighter mode. However, the Yak 1B does mess up his shots, and the Hurricane, even though he does take out the 109, I do at least get to avenge him, even though the Hurricane is a bit of a tough bitch, let's put it that way. That's kill number 4, but here comes the maneuver. The P400's coming back, and here comes the Yak 1. Now, the Yak 1 doesn't have an armoured glat. Well, in fact, it does, but it doesn't have any, like, engine protection. So if there's one thing the Yak 1 doesn't like, it's engine fires. He does score some pretty good hits across the airframe with his cannon, but here comes a P-39, and as you can tell, old Sully's having to do a lot of work here. Yes, I call this thing Sully because it's a reference to the film, because Hudson River, yeah. It made perfect sense to call this thing Sully. Never actually mentioned that nickname in a review, but, well, I now have. So there's the P400, he's really struggling. I get a crit and take him out for my 6th kill. Now, of course, the match does seem like a long one, but I do die to this P39. So the rest of it is just me watching because I wanted to see how the match ended, and we did end up winning this, but unfortunately, this is going to be the end of Sully the Hudson, because, well, it's a P-39 and he has 37mm autocannon, and yeah. And this is where, well, a couple of minutes ago, well, about 30 seconds ago, Harry Pateur puts in, you need to post some videos, Joseph. Obviously spelled Joseph wrong, but, well, that's not the first time someone's done that. I've had all sorts of spelling for my name, honestly. He then replies with the radio command, awesome. I said this might just make it to the channel. And, well, if I'd have survived this engagement, it would have probably been something where I was like, yeah, this is how you do work in a Hudson, but unfortunately, because of the crew wounding of the Yak 1 earlier on, the P-39 is going to kill me. So, this is where Sully makes his final stand. I pitch up so I can get as many guns on this P-39 as possible. He's coming in very pissed off, as you can imagine. He fires his bazookas, takes out my pilot. The rockets miss, but I get him on fire. I even put in chat, I'll take it. I'll quickly pause it so I can jump to the P-39's perspective. The poor sod tries to put the fire out, but, well, there's one thing about Airacobras. They do not like fires. And, well, his wing falls off from the fire, he falls into a flat spin. And that is 7 kills and nearly 2 bases in a Hudson. Whilst this thing isn't as durable as you definitely saw there, because the Havoc would have probably shrugged that off. It would have maybe lost an engine, but, well, Yeah, that's just the Havoc for you. It just goes to show that the Hudson can definitely do some work, and if you do not have a Hudson for your rank 2 daily tests, yeah, I would get one. Let's put it that way. It's cheap, it's fun, and most importantly, it kicks an awful lot of ass. And I'm sorry, but for 700G off sale and just 350 on sale, what the hell are you playing at if you don't have a Hudson? If it can do this much work, same as with the Havoc. In fact, I'll do you one better, buy them both, because then you have both bases covered. Yeah, see what I did there? Both bases covered? I'm sorry, that was terrible. Well, if you're new to the channel, you won't expect dad jokes like that, but well, yeah, if you're a long-time subscriber of the channel, that should be pretty familiar territory for you. Without further ado, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing Sully's rampage, to put it simply. And yeah, I really hope this makes you decide on picking up a Hudson and or Havoc. Or both. Depends on your choice, really. See you all on the next one.